3, 2, 1, we're live.
All right, guys. Welcome back to Mapping It Out podcast with Ryan Williams and
Coda.
There we go. This is episode 13, and we've now that we're, I guess, like you said, teenagers in the podcast world now, we thought it'd be a good time to dive into some technical aspects, some tactical advice on what we've seen as far as like marketing, advertising, content creation, how it fits into like an overall like scalability play for bringing any brand up from where you are to where you want to go. I've built and sold a couple brands, but our biggest asset as far as information is that we work with so many other brands. We see what works, what doesn't work for them, the challenges they have, how they overcome it. So we have a lot of information that we've seen, even though we ourselves do not do any in-house advertising anymore, but we do have a lot of information we've seen work with other clients.
Yeah, definitely.
And talk about your background a little bit. You got significant stuff.
So I have a video agency right now, the business I'm growing. But my background is I actually worked with Billy Jean, his marketing. Mm-hmm. Very, very successful.
Yeah, he's top tier, man. Yeah.
Top tier marketing guy, man. He is the guy.
He's funny as shit too.
Yeah, he's super funny. And that's part of it. And we'll get into the creativity of what he does and how he kind of took that creating content of running it as ads and just getting more eyes on it and just being entertaining, right? Entertainment's what sells. So that's kind of a couple of things that we'll go into later. But I just learned a lot from him. I was on the Video Vixens team and just learned a lot.
Video Vixens team? Sounds like a swim team. You have to wear a bikini for that?
Yeah. Once or twice, video content. But Video Vixens. And I just learned a lot. And then once I left the company, I just took everything I knew and learned from him. It's full spot on. So I just want to share my 2 cents of how I get clients with my video production company running ads, but that's not just the only thing that we do. So
yeah. And for you guys listening to, we don't really plan out these episodes ahead of time. We text you like, hey, what's the topic we're going to talk about today? Because I'm really interested in learning about what you learned from that stuff. Like, as a marketing agency, what you learn behind the scenes running all that. Because I only know it from my perspective, but this whole podcast is basically just you guys listening in on conversations we're having anyway about trying to learn and better ourselves and grow and scale. So with that, one of the most important thing I learned recently was that, obviously things move so fast in the digital marketing age, but what worked like a year ago is absolutely freaking outdated now. So when we were running ads for some of our side brands, maybe a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, we were able to get not awesome results. We were able to get like 3 or 4 by return on ad spend, and then with some particular products up to like 17 by return on ad spend, which basically like consolidated as a ROAS is the short term for that. But now what we're seeing is like, dude, it's even professional agencies are having a hard time getting like 3 or 4 by. So if you have a business where it used to be you just scale ads or you'd deploy ads and then you'd spend $1,000 and make $1,500, and $500 profit or whatever it is. So you're getting a positive return on it, and you just keep pushing it and growing and growing it. But advertising has become so expensive that it's just the cost of it has crushed the return on ad spend. So now you're lucky to get like a 3 by. So basically all these brands that were growing because of ads are now having to completely change tactics because what they're looking at now is that a brand will be lucky to get a new customer at break even. Mm-hmm. In fact, a lot of times you'll lose money on the customer initially. So you have to have a whole ecosystem built out on the back end of SMS, which is, text marketing, of email campaigns, of Facebook groups, of all these other things, because really in modern digital marketing, most brands are barely going to be break even with new clients or new products new customers to your system. So you have to up the average order value, which is AOV, and your lifetime value. Mm-hmm. And if you don't do that, what worked a year ago or 2 years ago does not work anymore.
Nope.
So you have to adapt.
Customer acquisition is so expensive.
Dude, it is.
Because when I started working at Billy's, it was so cheap. It was kind of still new. It was about 3 years ago in that way. But like during a pandemic, everyone started going to ads and started being really competitive. But it's just one of those things where if you were on that wagon running ads, that was great. But now it's like, okay, you have to be very strategic of how you do it. And like how you talked about like the SMS, email, all that kind of stuff. Like the reason for doing all of that, it might sound like, oh, I could just go run ads and stuff like that. No, man, like it goes for anything. A YouTube creator, like people usually don't buy the first time they see you. You know, it takes a couple like 10, 12, 15, 20 times for them to be like, oh, he's around. I see what he's doing. He's hustling, blah, blah, blah. Let me see what he has to offer. You know, it's not like that first time they're going to be like, all right, cool. That's the cool thing about like pixels, where if you watch an ad, right, or you click on the thing and you're like, fuck, I don't want to see it right now. You get pixeled, right? And now you're targeted. Now that's where the SMS comes into play. That's when the whole opting and where they can retarget you and get another touch on you. And it's like, okay, cool. Now that's how you do it. There's a lot that goes behind into it. And that's why it's like perfect for a podcast to just kind of break it down. But like you said, customer acquisition is very expensive.
Yeah. So the technical side of it. So say you've got a 3-buy return on ad spend, right? So that means you spend $100, you get $300 back. But if your product costs, say you do apparel, right, and you got 300% markup on it. So say you sell $300 of apparel, but the product itself costs you $100. Your advertising costs you $100, and your overhead is $100. You made no fucking money.
Yeah.
So even though you got a 3-buy return on ad spend and you sold $300 of the product, you made zero profit.
Exactly.
So you really have to have these other ends of the ecosystem put in place now, because that's the norm. And I was fortunate to go to an event called Geek Out recently in Mission Beach, and Alex Urban from Lions Not Sheep hooked it up, got me a ticket to it. And dude, these are like the cream of the crop, world's top marketers. And I didn't know half the shit they were talking about. And like, because personally, we don't run ads. But the strategies they were talking about and like discussing, hey, this shit doesn't work anymore. What are you guys doing to combat that, to work around it? And it was kind of the things that a lot of it was validation. Like I've kind of thought these things in my mind, but then hearing these guys who are the absolute top of the game say the same thing, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So you guys out there who are running brands and running ads and you're not getting a good return on ad spend, it's not you. You don't suck. No. These are the best guys in the world that are having the exact same problem. Yeah. So don't worry about that, but also don't beat your head against a wall that is not going to move. You can't change Facebook. You can't change Instagram. You can't change how that game is played.
Yeah.
All you can do is find a different element of the game to play. So with that, I would say stop trying to get super profitable on new customers, because in most cases, that's just not going to happen anymore. So you have to switch to, you still got to acquire new customers, but you have to switch tactics to focusing on the people who are already in your ecosystem. How can you get them more involved in your brand? How can you come out with new products that they feel they want to do? Like one of our brands, they do really well, but they haven't come out with a new design in like 2 years. I'm like, bro, you have all this traffic, you have all these things. Everybody loves your brand, but they want to buy new shit from you, but you're not offering them new stuff. And so when he's running ads and all this stuff, it's all the same people, but he's not offering them anything new.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's not my brand.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's just focused on other stuff. Because running a brand gets freaking tedious, dude. It gets tiring, especially after like year 3 or 4. You feel like you're just banging your head against the wall and pushing a rock uphill. It gets exhausting.
Yeah.
That's why I love being on the back end. Like infrastructure. It's like, you guys push the rocks. I'll just put the wedges in after and help them not roll downhill. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think kind of just breaking down what I specialize in, which is video. I think a lot of people, if you're not running ads, I still say get out there, right? Still spend money on get used to it.
Yeah, try it.
It's a huge.
You need a presence.
Exactly. Yeah. You still need to do that, because if you're not doing it, you're a ghost. I mean, you've talked about this multiple times on the podcast, where it used to be all about like pictures, right? And just like, oh, like these are sick pictures. But now it's like, all these different social media platforms have used video. Video is number one now, because you get to see the character, you get to see how they talk, what energy they bring. Like there's so like a lot of things that you can see in a video. So you need to be posting video content. And that's why I stress, and that's what my agency does, is creating social media content for my clients. But that's number one. Go and start running ads. There's so much free content on YouTube of how to run ads. It's insane. And it's so simple. Might be intimidating at first, but it's very simple.
Yeah, once you learn it, you can do it. I mean, you might not be able to get as good of results as the other guys, the pro guys, but you'll get pretty close, and you'll save a ton of money. And by the time it gets big enough to where it makes sense to hand it off to a pro agency, you'll have the capital and the growth and the volume to be like, okay, that's fine. I can pay this person, $5,000, $20,000, $50,000 a month to take that off your plate.
Because speed is everything. It's like I'd rather pay for speed now. In the beginning when I didn't have money, like I was like, okay, that's why I had to teach myself a lot of stuff.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, so it's normal.
You gotta do it.
But if you do have money, like, do your research first. Don't trust any just marketing agency. Some of these people are marketing agencies because that's the hot thing right now. And it's like, you just can't trust everyone that you see that says marketing agency. You do your homework. What I would recommend doing is learn the basics of ads through Facebook, because Facebook owns Instagram right?
Yeah.
So they own that. And that's how through the Facebook ads manager, that's how you can use both of them, Facebook ads and Instagram ads. Start learning it by yourself. So when you're ready to maybe hire someone that's like specializes in it, you have the right questions to ask and be like, oh, I know this about pixels. How do you guys do that? And it kind of just is a better gauge compared to you just going full faithful into somebody, So just do your homework first. But if you're not trying to have someone do it and you just want to do your own thing, there's like a very simple formula for video content, for running ads. It's be entertaining.
Yeah.
It's be entertaining.
Well, most people just get in their own way with that.
The crazy thing is people overthink all the time. Right now, it's so hilarious. If you go back 5 years ago, 10 years ago, what was like the thing that was selling products? Infomercials.
Yeah.
Bad acting.
Terrible.
Like even now, like huge commercials, it's like there's a like A character, B character, and they're not addressing the camera.
Oh.
Nowadays, you see content on like commercials now too. They're addressing the camera.
Well, that's what these guys were talking about in the Geek Out event as well, was that like user-generated content is like, that's what people are responding to now, because like you said, they're facing the camera, they're looking at it, they're talking to them like their friend, like they're engaging with their audience. They're not like just blasting them with information like an infomercial, because dude, that shit doesn't work anymore.
Another simple tip too is if you start off an ad and say, hey guys, don't say that. You say, hey, you. That's it. Because when you say you specifically, you're talking to one person, and that person's on the phone. It's little things like that. It's like psycho, whatever, but you're kind of like, hey, you, I know what you're going through right now. And the reason I know what you're going through. I
feel like you're speaking to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it, dude. That's how it works.
Oh, okay, cool. But you know what you're targeting now, right? I'm speaking specifically to you. And why am I speaking specifically to you? Because I reached you specifically. How did I do that? Targeting, which is in the whole Facebook ads manager, where you can really target the city, zip codes, age, gender, if they're single, if they're divorced, or if it's complicated, they have a kid that's less than 3 years old or teen. Like there's so much customization when it comes to targeting. It's insane. Yeah. So when I say you, Ryan, I know who I'm targeting. I'm targeting apparel
because you've
brands.
already made the specifics of it.
Yeah. Who am I targeting? People that live in San Diego, Miramar, that own apparel companies or entrepreneurs, anything like that, but more specifically niche apparel companies, right? And Miramar, right? So it's just like very specific. I know you're going to get that ad, right? So it's like there's more into it, but that's just like the first starting out. Be who you are on camera, be entertaining, and say I or you, right? I'm talking to you. And it just is more engaging. If you're making a skit, those things are dead, which unfortunately sucks because I love making skits and stuff like that.
Well, they're entertaining, but there has to be some kind of like connection.
Exactly.
People are just so used to like arm's length, like, oh, I'm observing it, but I don't really want to be involved in it. You know, and when you're buying a product or a service, usually that's you're bringing that into your life, into your real life, and there's a disconnect. Like memes can get attention and the skits can get attention, but ultimately you have to connect with that person, and they have to see the value in what you're offering, providing the product, and see like, oh, I can see that in my life. I need that in my life. That's why I think, dude, it's so important to be super clear with your avatar.
Yep.
Yes. So for those of you guys that are maybe brand new to this, and an avatar is basically, it's not, the blue guy on the movie. Although Avatar 2 looks like it's gonna be badass. But this is a different avatar. This is essentially, you get super clear with who your customer is, who your audience is. That's down to like what their names are. Like, are they men or women? How old are they? Like, where did they go to school? What is their pet's name? What type of dog do they have? Do they have a fish? Do they have a cat? What do they do in them? What kind of car do they drive? Is it a diesel? Is it a Prius? Like, there's two very different types of people. And depending on what the product or services you're offering, you're going to waste, if you don't segment out and be very clear with your avatar, you're going to waste so much money on ads, just targeting the wrong people. Because when you say, hey, you're not talking to the wrong person. You know what I mean? You're completely missing the person that you're aiming for. So it's like firing a gun. Like, you have to aim at someplace first. You can't just randomly like pump a shotgun around all directions and expect to hit anything.
Exactly. Because creating your avatar is the number one thing. If you just throw a fucking cast out there, you ain't gonna catch shit. But it's like, if you're very specific of what you're trying to do, you already have your base avatar, right? If you have 2 clients, 3 clients, or whatever, if you're doing work for people for free, if you're just, let's just say for me, doing video work for real estate agents, all right, cool. That's my new niche. I do video work for real estate agents. How do I niche that down? Do I do buying agents? Do I do selling agents? Or listing agents? Do I just do women? Do I just do males? Do I just do in San Diego or LA and zip code specifically? Do I only want the rich neighborhoods? Like, there's so much that you need to really focus on your avatar so you know exactly where you're casting. And a huge thing too, that I learned from Billy is women and men talk differently.
Yes.
Right? So when you're running an ad for men and women, don't do it. You have to make 2 separate ads. One for a man, because if you're a man, you know how to talk to a guy, right?
Yeah.
If you're a man, you don't really know how to talk to a woman. You need to figure out the structure behind that. And here's like an example, right? Let's just say you have an e-commerce company and you do one of like those like Valentine's Day teddy bears, right? You go to a guy and say, hey man, I know you probably messed up again. Valentine's Day.
Minute.
Yeah.
You
Valentine's Day is in 2 days, and you probably
didn't get
messed
anything.
up.
You're
Exactly.
in the doghouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how
I feel
you
like
would
you're
talk.
speaking to me.
Yes. Because I'm a guy and you're a guy, right? If I go to a girl with that same product, it would be way different.
Yeah.
Girls don't usually forget Valentine's Day. They're very on top of it, So it'd be something along the lines of like,
missing attention from your guy, putting an honest name on it. Save yourself flowers.
Exactly.
Kind of shady, but it'll probably work.
So it's just like putting your message out there to different people is huge. Because girls talk differently than guys and they receive messages differently from guys.
Yeah. It starts with the avatar, and then from there you can craft the messaging. It also like comes down to the product, the packaging of the product, like what you write on the note that goes in the card. Like it's everything. I was looking up my buddy's Instagram. It's another former team guy, Frankie Margota. He's helped us go through our avatar. It's like a 3-hour conversation, but you go like in depth, and we have like our primary, our secondary, and tertiary, and we'll go and like we'll name them, we'll name their dogs. Like, we know everything about this person after about 3-hour conversation. So if you guys are interested in learning more about that, just follow Frankie Margota, Margotta on Instagram. He's, if you want to hire him though, he's really expensive. So like, it's going to be about $5,000 to go through the whole thing. So don't bug him if you're not willing to spend the money. But if you are, there's nobody better to really highlight your avatar. If you're looking at doing ads, it is worth the $5,000 to get very clear on who your audience is, because you're going to save that $5,000 in the first 2 months of advertising, just by being super clear with who you're looking at.
Definitely. Nice, dude. I have to follow him too.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Always learning. That's the thing right now, this day and age. You're never going to see a textbook in high school or marketing class on YouTube. You're
not too fast. You can't even go to print.
No. Oh, they changed what?
Yeah.
Oh, they changed this. Like, never going to happen. So it's like people are constantly learning. So you have to be surrounded by people that are just on top of it. So that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, this change is just, it happens too quickly. Like, the only people who really are on the cutting edge are the people who are actually doing it. And very few of those people like talk about it or do publicly. I know Billie Jean does. I've been to a few of his events, and dude, I learn a lot every time.
Definitely.
It's again, it's expensive, but dude, if you're in the advertising game or you're looking at it, it's totally worth, $1,000, $1,500 to go and just absorb like top of the line, like the very pinnacle of the fucking whole market, like knife's edge for information.
Definitely. He's actually doing a program right now, certification programs, where if you go with Billy, he teaches, I think it's a 12-week program, but he teaches you how to really market.
Nice.
Yeah.
None of these guys are paying us for this,
Nothing.
by the way.
No. Just like these guys, it's just one of those things where you work with people and you just respect what they do. And I think people just need this shit right now.
Yeah.
Just constantly.
Well, that's what this whole thing is. Like, we're just trying to help people. So
yeah,
shit's free. You're welcome, Billy and Frankie.
I was watching Shark Tank. I love Shark Tank, dude. Do you watch Shark Tank?
I learned a lot from Shark Tank. Yeah.
Bro.
It's a real situations there.
I've been watching that since high school. So I was like back in 2013. And it's just funny where they talk about back in 2013, they talk about like commercials, right? TV's expensive, blah, blah, blah. And then a couple of years, probably like last 5 years. Are you running Facebook ads? Are you running Instagram ads, YouTube ads, like all that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know shit about that, blah, blah, blah. Now this season, they talk about
TikTok ads or something?
viral ads.
Yeah.
You don't need to spend money on ads. You just need one viral video. And in my mind, I was just like, holy shit. Now it's like having that background of running ads is a key thing where you're running it. It is expensive, but you're constantly, it's like a salesman. Like when you're sleeping, it's working still, So you're sleeping, ads are still running. But the thing is, when you make a viral video, it's completely free. I'm not saying that you can make one like right off the bat. It's not easy, but the formula is simple too. Do you know what the formula is?
Hit them with the formula.
Be entertaining. Like, legit. Like people go on social media. Why? Why do people go on social media?
Entertainment.
They're bored.
Essentially, yeah.
They're bored. Every time you go on the toilet, every time you walk down the hall, every time it's habit, but it's usually because you're bored.
It is entertaining, yeah.
You just hop on the phone. So when you hop on your phone, you're going to see ads and you're going to see videos that have 100,000 likes, 100,000 views. And those are like semi-viral, right? And they could just have a product or subliminally put product somewhere. Or they could be just straight up talking about like, what's the word? Like a makeup brush. And they just talk about it. And that shit could just hit viral for no reason. It was a popular song that was on the video.
Yeah.
There's so much shit. But it's like, it was completely free to them.
Yeah, so the advertising game, but like I feel like it used to be, there's always been a heavy amount of creativity needed with it, but there was also a heavy amount of analytics behind it, like how you're targeting everybody and segmenting the audience. And both are true, but I feel like now, like that skill set, the technical skill set is a lot easier to grasp. Like you can do a couple YouTube videos and get the basics of figuring it out. And you can spend like a month on YouTube and, maybe a couple $100 on Facebook ads and run your own stuff and get a general feel for it. But the creative side of it, like what it takes to actually craft a message that resonates with your audience and really know how to speak to them in a way that's going to be relevant to them. Dude, that's a very rare skill set, and most people are terrible at it. So I think that's going to be even more highly valued in the future. And also too, like we had some person, it's maybe like a year ago, they came to us, year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever. We were running ads, and he's like, I want you guys to run ads. And I looked at the stuff. I'm like, dude, this is terrible. I can put this in front of 1 million people and nobody's going to buy it because it's fucking terrible.
But was terrible?
I didn't sell him that. I didn't tell him that. But it was
what
like,
was terrible?
He had like an apparel line, but it was like just the most cringy fucking shit ever. It's like, dude, nobody is going to buy this. Like the website looks like fucking junk. The designs are like, looks like a 5-year-old drew them. Like, it's just a fucking all around bad idea. It's like, I don't have any sales. I need to put ad dollars behind it. Like, no. That is not the problem. Advertising is not going to help. You need to go back. You need to really get clear on what it is you're offering to the people. You can't just offer them a t-shirt with a shitty design and I'm like, buy my stuff. It's not even about the design. It's about what the brand means to the person who is wearing it, what the brand identity is. And does that match and mesh with the person, the audience they're going for? Because ultimately you want them to be like, that brand not defines me. That brand helps me define me in my own eyes.
It's like what you say about like your shirt. You love apparel because it's like the tattoo of the day. Yeah. You know, so it's kind of like, oh, that makes sense, you know, but you wear it because of Slayer, right? You just fucking, you love Slayer, you know, or Motley Crue, like you just enjoy them. So you love their shirt, right? Yeah. So it's just like, but that's what the brand they represent.
Exactly. It's an alignment of like your personal brand with whatever brand you're representing. I like love 80s rock bands. So like AC/DC today and Motley Crue and like all this stuff. Just I feel like they help me define myself. You know what I mean? To myself and to the audience, because it's like a collab, right? Like a collaboration. Like if you know, you want your brand to be on Under Armour, they're probably not going to do a collaboration with you, but if you put your brand on an Under Armour shirt, it looks like a collaboration. You get value from that. Same thing with Champion's really popular right now. They don't really sell unbranded blanks, but if you buy one of their blanks, it's still got Champion on the cuff. It's kind of like a co-brand. That's why they're more expensive, because they're not meant to be like just these, you know, invisible blanks. They're meant to be something that helps you define what it is that you're building. You know, another aspect that we talk like the technical aspects of moving from just focusing on new clients or new customers. So there's really only 3 ways to grow revenue in a company, or a typical company, aside from like publicly traded and all the other stuff. But typically there's only 3 ways. Number 1, you got to get more customers, or you sell the same people more stuff, or you raise your prices. Those are only really the only 3 ways. So if we've already established that it's basically break even to get new customers, they're expensive. And if you've already raised your prices to a reasonable amount, and on that, most of you guys are selling t-shirts, like everybody knows inflation. Everybody knows the supply chain problems. If you're selling a t-shirt for $22, $25, you're not even in the fucking game. Like if you've been doing that, raise it to 25, 28. If you've been at 28, raise it to 32, maybe 35 is a quality product. But there's an expectation from your consumer to quality, right? So they know that they expect to pay $30, $35 for a t-shirt anymore, which, you know, 5 years ago, like, oh my God, that's stupid expensive. We can never do that. So if you guys are listening and you're trying to figure out how to price your product as an apparel, raise it at least $5 and see what that hits. But then, so the third thing is sell the same people more products. And that's what I was getting at with my buddy that runs that line. And they're doing good, but they haven't had any new products. I'm like, you have all these people that love your brand. Give them more stuff. Do a new design every month, you know, and then you'll have some that hit and some that don't. And the ones that hit, awesome. Now make it an evergreen product and keep it always in stock and have a new one next month. If that one flops, no problem. Sell it out, run a sale on it, and then develop a new design. So over a year, you've got 12 designs. 3 or 4 of them will probably be hitters. And now you've got 3 or 4 solid, like evergreen products that when new people come to your site, now they've got stuff like, oh, fuck, I love all this shit, you know? So they're even more invested in it, you know, integrated into your company and your brand.
And then the third one's like the subscription model, you know, like you kind of talked about, where it's like, yeah, they can come back again, but because that was the third.
You're still selling the same person more product.
Yeah.
But that's also, it helps the valuation of the company.
Yeah.
So that's, dude, if you can do a subscription model, like that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Going back into like the ads, when I was working with Billy's, he said doing a whole production, because he has really good quality production videos. He did like a whole bunch of spoofs, like Wolf of Wall Street type stuff, you know, like a lot of different things. Very funny, and got a lot of attention, and that's how people know him, as like the spoof kind of advertiser. But what he really stresses is like, yo, you don't need to be making, like, it takes you a week to film something. If it takes you a week to film something, you're already behind.
Yeah.
You should be able to crank out an ad in an hour and have it uploaded to Facebook or Instagram within the next 2 hours with the ad copy and stuff like that. Because you can start getting the analytics of like, what's engaged, like, are you getting engagement? Who's looking at it? How much are you spending on it? You know what I mean? And you can rep this out. You can make 7 ads in 7 days compared to like just spending on like the one best ad that I'm going to write out and it's going to be a perfect ad. You don't fucking know it's going to be a good ad.
Yeah.
You could just waste a week on it when you can like put a couple hours in for a day, run an ad, And at the end of the week, you have 7 ads running. Okay, this one and this one seem to be doing really great compared to the other ones. Let's push a little bit more money towards that.
Or plug on everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like, just remember, you can shoot everything on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a fancy equipment that like we have, crazy anything. The biggest things that I tell my clients when we're creating content, your phone, which shoots 4K, amazing quality.
Yeah.
You need good lighting outside next to a window, right? Or just get like some cheap LED lights or anything like that, and good audio.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen videos that are blurry as fuck. Like I can't really see what I'm watching, but the audio is so fucking crispy and clear.
Yeah.
I watch the whole thing.
How do you do that on an iPhone? Is there like a microphone that you can plug in?
Yeah, dude. So I think it's all right. So it's the Rode Video Mic MEL. Yeah, it's like $80.
I tried some other ones and they're like, oh, it works. And I try to plug it in. Like it did not work at all. I'm like, dude, this is so annoying. But I was just going to use it for like when I do podcasts with other people, like when I'm on their podcast to try to get better audio for them. Or like Zoom calls and like consulting calls and stuff like that. It's just better to be like higher quality.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I tried the one I bought. I don't know what it was, but it was not that because it was total junk.
Yeah, and that's the thing where it says I go with the products that I know.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using Rode forever. Another one too is just like you just need cleaner audio, you know. And my biggest thing is if you're filming a video that takes like a walk and talk, right? You could just use something that's really close, the Rode Video Mic Pro, the thing that goes on the phone, what we just talked about. You can use that. Or if you just want to get like a longer lavalier wired mic where you can have some distance between people, you know? People nowadays don't give a fuck if you're holding the mic. They don't care.
No.
They really don't.
It's almost better because it's more authentic and less processed.
Yes.
And, dude, people have an aversion to anything they think they're being sold. Like, so the closer you can get to like a real authentic conversation, dude, you're in.
The crazy thing is everyone knows you're selling them.
Of course.
Everybody.
Yeah.
If you're in front of the camera, hey, I want to talk to you about something.
Yeah.
You're not Mormon missionaries. You're not missionaries at the door. Like, we know you're going to sell me something. But it's just like one of those things where, dude, they know you're going to sell them or you are trying to sell them. Just be organic. Be straight up. Tell your story the way it should be told. And if they're going to fuck with it, they'll fuck with it. If they don't, they don't. But it's like making sure you put that message, like you said, with that one kid, like these shirts are bad. No one's going to buy these. But it's like your biggest thing is creating a brand behind that. Like, what do you really sell? You know? So,
yeah. And I think, man, honestly, so many people to get caught up in what are people going to think? It's not going to be perfect, especially in the fitness realm. So many fitness people like just go off the rails and like, oh my God, my bicep peak I'm only 7% body fat. I should be 3%. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you look great. You look awesome. You're in shape. You're living life. You're having a good fucking time. Like, you're winning, dude. Like, you don't need to be so fucking shredded. Like, abs don't make you a good person. It's like, you don't need to worry about it. People don't expect perfection. And honestly, now people don't trust perfection. Like, if you're too perfect, people are like, dude, what the fuck? What the hell's going on? What are you selling me, bro?
Yeah.
You're like hypnotizing me with his magic abs or something.
Yeah. And that's why I tell everyone, dude, run ads, but just make content.
Yeah, just make it.
People aren't always going to like you. You know what I heard? And I love this. You could be the juiciest, most best peach in the world. Like, when you buy into you, like, oh, it's the best. Like, the flavor, you're the perfect peach. There's some people out there that just don't like peaches. Like, the same shit. Like, not everyone's going to like you. Get over that hump, and then you can move forward. And I promise, life will be so much better.
Dude,
like,
you're totally right. There's one of my oldest friends, Mike Mahalski. He runs a awesome brand called Sons of Liberty Gumworks. We actually met on an internet forum, like literally an internet chat room. And it turns out my roommate was like one of his best friends growing up. So there's connection there. Yeah, but we used to we met because we're both just talking shit to other people on the internet. And we're like, I like the way you talk shit. I like the way you talk shit. Let's talk shit together. But it was funny, dude. Like, somebody we're both like lovable assholes in the same way. So we'd fuck with people like in a funny way. And people just get butthurt and complain. And I'm like, I think, pretty cool people. Yeah. I'm biased, obviously, but I think we're pretty fucking
cool,
cool,
Ryan. You're pretty cool, man.
But we came up with this. We're like, dude, people are always going to talk shit. Like, there could be a picture of me riding 2 fucking sharks with a babe on my shoulders and sunglasses on, smoking a cigar, and somebody be like, that guy's fucking lame. What do you think? I'm riding 2 fucking sharks. I'm the coolest motherfucker ever. Somebody's going to talk shit. So just don't even worry about it.
Come for you from PETA. Like, oh, he's riding those sharks. So not cool. Like, dude, yeah.
Just train sharks. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even today, man, like.
You fake Dan Bilzerian. Like,
I know, right?
It's the same thing. It's just like,
people can talk shit. That's why, dude, it's so important. You got to figure out who to listen to. What number is that podcast we did? I think like 3.
Who to listen to?
Yeah, no, you got to know who to listen to.
Oh, I think that was, what was that? I think that was like an 8.
Yeah. It was a good one, though.
Yeah, it was really good.
But even this morning, dude, I'm coming into the podcast and I got a haircut yesterday and I came home and Disney saw it last night, but I guess she wasn't paying attention. Maybe the stylist did it better than I did today. And she came out of her office. She's like, what is wrong with your hair? I'm like, babe, it's same thing you saw last night. Like, what's different? She's like, oh my God, you look like a light bulb or something, something like that. I'm like, well, fuck, do I? I don't know. And I went into the bathroom just to check. I'm like, I look just as stupid as I do every other day. Whatever, fuck it, we're rolling. Like, I don't care. I didn't change a thing. I'm like, dude, we're going with it because I don't fucking care. I mean, if I genuinely look stupid or if I got salad in my teeth or something, like, yeah, I'm going to pick it out. I don't purposely go out of my way to look like a fucking weirdo. But at the same time, it doesn't look any better or worse than it does to me any other day. Yeah. So I'm like, dude, why am I'm not going to, I care what my wife thinks, but also to a point, I'm like, this doesn't affect me. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to go and record content and do stuff and live my life. I'm not going to go, oh my God, I got to go shower and blow dry my hair and do this. So what are people going to think about my fucking hair? If you're watching this and you don't listen to what the fuck we say because of my hair, you're a fucking loser anyway. I don't care what you think.
Fucking loser.
And it does look kind of dumb. I don't know. It's kind of my style. I look kind of dumb.
It looks normal to me.
Yeah, see, I don't know, it looked normal to me this morning too.
I don't think that's an insult for me to say that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, that looks normal.
It looks the same amount of weird as it does every other day.
And I think that's something very like stress to everyone out there listening. Fuck what people say, create content because that's going to catapult you to that next level. Yeah, and you have to because the alternative is not doing it. And then you go fucking nowhere. You're guaranteed to go nowhere if you do nothing. Mm-hmm. Pick your poison, right? Do nothing. And probably get depressed that like you're not growing because you're not doing anything, but you're not being hated on, but you're just not winning. Or maybe take that different route that's uncomfortable, be hated on by a couple other people, but hey, you're growing now. Well, and people still hate on you the other way. They just don't talk about it. Yeah, exactly. I guess. Yeah, they just don't post it like fuck that guy. Yeah, exactly. Because you're not creating content for them to post on. Exactly. So, I promise, like you go that direction, you'll be much happier. It's going to be uncomfortable, which is normal, but that's a part of business. Everything's uncomfortable. Like you're trying new things, but you're going to be out there then. Like now you'll be out there and people can see who you are. And I promise if you feel like the wallflower, there's people out there that feel like wallflowers. Dude, yeah. Connect with them. Dude, I saw this YouTube channel. This is probably like a while back, but dude, this guy, I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but he's what I would consider like a loser. But he knows he's a loser and but his whole channel is about connecting with other people who are kind of that thing. He's like, so he'll set the camera on himself and do a 45-minute video. It doesn't even look at the camera. Hey, do homework with me. It's literally just him doing homework. And he's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So if you think you're a fucking nerd and like, I'm a very unique fucking snowflower. Like, no, you're not. There is somebody and some 100,000 group of other people out there who want to do fucking homework with you, who want to hear what you have to say, who want to be a part of whatever you have in your mind, but you have to fucking create it and you have to bring it into the real world and create it bring your vision into reality. And if you do that and you believe in it and you do authentically enough, you're going to have people that fucking dig it and people that follow you and people that want to be involved in whatever you build. And it goes back to just be entertaining. Like in the aspect of, you don't have to be so theatrical. Mm-hmm. But if you have content that's entertaining, there might be things that aren't entertaining to you, but are so entertaining to me. When it comes to like watching cool things about different technological like cameras, sure. Like to me, like I'll geek out on that. Yeah. You might be like, oh, that's kind of cool. But it's not like my level. So I've got like 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, which I think of course is very interesting. He's got like 100,000. Yeah. He's literally watching him do fucking homework. I'm like, who's the loser here? Yeah. But it's funny. It's like, but his is just more organic in that way. It's just him. He's doing him. He's doing him. And he knows his audience. I think that's where people get so thrown in the loop of like, oh, I can make a YouTube. You can. Mm-hmm. You can. but you have to understand the long term of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy, because I'm constantly creating content and things for my clients and just me personally like building my brand. But I was on TikTok the other day, and there's a live, you can go on lives, right? Kind of like on IG. I was going through some of these lives, and these people are live. I think you need to have over 1,000 followers on TikTok to unlock the live feature. I'm scrolling through, and I saw these two guys in their dorm room just chipping little like wiffle balls into a cup. Guess how many viewers they had?
2,000.
50,000.
What? Wow.
And they're in their dorm room. The camera's on the ground, and you have like the kid behind the camera narrating the game.
Yeah.
And it was just the boys in the dorm room just drinking and playing, like just chipping a ball into a cup.
Yeah.
50,000 people were watching that.
Isn't that nuts?
And it's just like, why?
Or that YouTube channel about, it's literally watching grass grow. It's somebody's lawn in like the Midwest, and it just is watching his fucking lawn. And there's like hundreds of thousands of people that tune into that. You just got to do it over time. Like that kid, there's, do your homework with him, whatever. He's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
So he's created, and he's authentic, and he's stuck with it long enough to where he found his audience, or his audience found him. And now, dude, I'm the loser. You know what I mean? That guy's kicking ass in his own way.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, man. Like, that's awesome. That's cool to see. You really can succeed in anything that you choose to do. You just have to stick with it long enough that your tribe to find you.
Yeah. Tribe's huge.
Dude, it is.
Tribe. It's like when I say entertaining, not all entertainment's the same. So
Exactly.
it's like, find your niche, your avatar, not the blue guys, but like your avatar of who you're trying to reach and what they like. Because the things that you like, if you replicate that type of content, people will watch it. If it's like in a good way. But I don't want people to stress about how production is.
Nah,
it doesn't fucking matter.
That's why authenticity is going to win long term.
100%.
Like it's become more and more and more important over like the last 2 years. And now, dude, you can't fake that. You cannot fake authenticity long enough to gain a following and to build a brand.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm super stoked. Like the closer that social media gets to like life and an actual reality of like living somebody's life, like warts and all, good and the bad, the whole thing. Dude, that's great for people who are really living it, because the plastic people, the fakers out there are going to be found out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll be like, well, why the fuck am I following this turd who's only pretending? He's just putting shit on t-shirts, but he doesn't really mean it or stand behind it. He doesn't do any of the things that he's saying he's going to do. Mm-hmm. Like, well, why the fuck are you following that person? Why are you inviting other people to view you by wearing his brand that he doesn't even fucking stand behind what he purports to stand for, you know?
It's crazy how much content out there is on social media. So many people, almost everyone can smell bullshit.
Yeah.
Like so fast.
Especially Gen Z, dude.
Yeah, so fast, dude. Yeah. That's one thing I love with someone's not, it goes both ways. Being not authentic, like some of these artists and things like that, they just get like the tattoos on the face, all this kind of stuff. Like if that's who you are, that's who you are, and that's great. But if you're just doing that and like just to collect a paycheck, like people just know that's not going to work. But it's like, if you want a quick paycheck, cool. You want 15 minutes of fame, cool. But like other than that, like you have to be very authentic.
You have to be real with it. I remember I saw this dude, this is years ago, but there's a little like kind of, I don't know. He didn't carry himself in a very aggressive manner, but he had 2 full color sleeve. This is like probably 10 years ago, and like it was kind of rare you didn't see a whole lot of people with 2 sleeves, like full big bright color sleeves. He was walking around all slouched, just kind of like no confidence, no nothing. And you could tell like he only got the tattoos. He didn't get the tattoos to represent who he was. He got the tattoos because he wanted people to see him a certain way, even though he didn't even view himself that way. Like you can't tattoo yourself tough. Like you have to be tough, and then you get fucking tattoos to show the world like, hey, that's why I got tattoos. Like I wanted to be viewed on the outside the way I felt on the inside. That's the way I look at it. That's the same way I look at t-shirts and real tattoos and everything else. But you have to be authentic with it. Otherwise you end up with like, you just fucking a sheep with wolf's skin, you know? Like you're not fooling anybody. You might fool a sheep. You ain't fooling other fucking wolves.
No, that's crazy. I know. And oh dude, you just have to, being authentic, you'll last longer. Like,
and it makes it more fun too.
You're being yourself.
Yeah.
If you have haters, fuck it. Like there's still people hating, just like you said, they're just not telling you straight to your face.
Yeah.
Like, but creating content you are.
And that's what I love about like us having this podcast. Like I don't have to worry about the fuck I'm talking about, because I know I'm just being authentic and and weird. And sometimes I'm right about stuff. Sometimes I'm wrong. And when I'm wrong, I learn. And I'm open and honest about it. And like, I don't have to worry about what the fuck I say because I know that I can stand behind everything I fucking say.
Exactly.
So I'm not lying. I don't have to worry about fucking anything.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so freeing. I can't imagine being stuck in your own fucking prison of lies that you tell everybody that you don't even fucking believe yourself. Like,
and it's to chase $1.
Yeah.
It's like,
you're selling, like, what a shitty existence, dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Not the way to go. To me, we're at almost 47
45,
minutes.
yeah.
Dude, I love this podcast.
I know, man. I'm good. Like, even if nobody views it.
This is just a really good conversation. Going back into like, I want to talk about like referrals and getting past clients, right? Because we talked about a lot about the ads, but how important is it to have a brand where people love what you do and you help them, but like they send you friends or family members that you're like, oh, they want to work with you too. How reliable is that?
Oh, it's the most like it's not a referral, but it's a personal recommendation is the most effective form of advertising. And especially as you get into higher tiers of clients too, advertising doesn't work very well at higher tiers because like say you and I both run $100 million companies, right? And I need a new tax guy. Like, I'm not going to go Google who's a tax guy. I'm going to ask my other friends who are doing the same shit I am. Like, hey, bro, who's your tax guy? You happy with him? Does a good job? And he'd be like, yeah, he's awesome. He's doing this. And our guy's Tyler McBroom. He's also awesome. Just plug for Tyler. Plugging everybody. This
well, it's a great plug.
But that's how these upper end clients work. They do it by recommendation. So that's why it's so important to be authentic and real and treat everybody important and the way that you would want to be treated, because that's your brand. That's your reputation. That's your personal brand and your business brand all rolled into one. What does somebody else say to their friends about you? That's how you get referrals. But even if it's not referrals, it's like if you send out a product to a customer and they're wearing it, I'm like, oh, that's a cool shirt. You know, where'd you get it? And like, it's a cool shirt, but yeah, the guy was a dick, or, you know, the customer service was really late or whatever. That's a totally different story than he really like. Now imagine different. Somebody asked me, hey, that's a cool shirt. Where'd you get it? Oh, dude, I talked to the owner on Instagram. It's fucking awesome. He sent me a handwritten note. Like, I fucking love this shirt. And they do this cool thing on Instagram. Like, they do lives and get connected. Like, you should go fucking check it out. Totally different conversation. Even though the product is the same, it's everything else around the product that is completely different. That's how you can change the context of how people view your product or service, just by being fucking nice and good.
Because it's interesting where it's like, you're 100% right. If you have really good referrals, you get to that beginning stage where it's like, when I was doing videos for the first time, weddings, right? I didn't run ads for being a wedding videographer. It was someone had a wedding at that wedding that was coming up. And they're like, oh, you do video? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, we have a wedding coming up. All right, cool. Like, and it's like referrals that way. But I think it's also really important to understand, like, how do you get those clients? For some reason, if your company flips upside down and another pandemic happens, like things are whatever, like how you can actually go out there and like get your own client. But I think that reverts to running ads and doing the whole SMS systems, emails. Yeah,
well, that's the digital way to do it, but it all comes down to the human way to do it. And Andy has a great way to do this at First Form. Is like basically anybody, and we do a similar operation where anybody who comes to us that wants our help or information on apparel lines, even if they're not a great fit for us, we'll try to help them. That's why we have a whole YouTube channel with like normal stuff, like how to build an apparel line, 7 key things to scale a brand, like how do you do your packaging, how to do this stuff, because it's free. I'm like, dude, when these people come in, how do I do this? Hey, awesome, man. That's a really good question. Super common. I made a video about it. It's 20 minutes long. It's going to answer all these questions for you. Here you go. And then now, like, we've helped that person, and maybe they're not a good fit for us, but now every time that person has a conversation about apparel later on with somebody else, they'll be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I talked to these guys and we didn't work with them, but they really fucking helped me. So we try to help as many people as can, even if we're not a great fit for it. And sometimes, like, because we only do medium to high volume production, so even I'll recommend other smaller shops. It's like, hey man, we can't run 24 units, but here's a website that you can go to, or here's my other buddy that does this other thing. You should go check them out. So we try to help as many people as possible, even if we're not the right fit. Because that spreads great conversations and goodwill and personal brand, business brand, everything else.
That's so funny. I do that too. I just didn't like realize like, oh, that's like a really good. I think it's just like how I was raised, or so just help people. So it's like when people
just be a good fucking person, man.
Yeah, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
it's the best marketing advice ever.
It really is. Just help, because people remember that shit.
Dude, Andy's got a crazy story about this. You might have heard it already, but so their customer service team, somebody had called in, and they had nothing to do with Andy has a supplement company called First Form, and nothing to do with supplements. The customer had a dead battery, and he couldn't find a battery. And so the customer service person called around and like, hey, there's one over here. I'll meet you there. And fucking met him there and installed the customer's battery for him. I'm like, that, like, wow, right, for a supplement brand. But now that story about going above and beyond, that's the message now. That's the story. Regardless of how many jars of protein that guy bought in his whole life, that story itself is representative of the culture and the way that whole company runs. That story sold millions and millions of dollars to the ship because it's not about that one person. That guy might not buy anything, but it's about the story that he tells, the story that's told about that situation that resonates with people. That's how you build like the context around what a brand means.
Damn, that's so sick.
It's cool.
I'm gonna call him when my battery dies.
Yeah, nobody call me about that shit. I'm not getting your battery, dude. Sorry.
I might come
That's above and beyond. No, don't call me for batteries. Call First Form. I'm nice, but I'm not that nice.
Maybe AA battery. That's it. I ain't doing no car shit. All right, man. Well, anything else you want to hit up?
I'll probably remember like 3 things after the podcast. But
always.
Yeah, I think we covered most of the things I wanted to cover. So
just a recap. Biggest thing, run ads for yourselves to understand where you really are in this world of like the technical age.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard. Go on YouTube, how to run Facebook ads. There's people that do it for free and they'll show you how to do it, and like really credible people. Next thing is just start creating content. Even if you feel like you suck at it, you probably do, but that's normal. I sucked at creating videos, and then I just loved doing it, and I just taught myself over and over and over. It becomes like a game where it's like, how can I make this video like better, or how the angling of this or anything? Just mess around with it. But remember, biggest thing is just be yourself and don't worry about production. Yeah, you have to be in the game to get better at the game. That's it. Don't expect to be good at it, and give yourself some space and a buffer zone and give less of a fuck and just go do shit. Like, that's the bottom line. Just go do shit and you will fucking figure it out. And hopefully some of the tactics and things that we've talked about in this podcast will help you once you take those first couple steps. Exactly. Definitely. All right, man. All right. Shake and bake. Shake and bake. That was a good one.